Ngaruawahia's Main Street. August 2018, midday. People going about their day, shops open, kids around. A normal Tuesday in a small Waikato town. Then a car is spotted, and 10 men converge on it simultaneously. The driver is dragged out, knocked to the ground, punched, kicked, hit with a claw hammer, and then the gang leader arrives personally, with an axe. He smashes it into the man's knees while he lies curled on the footpath. The man on the ground is Zion Coker, the gang's own sergeant-at-arms. The man with the axe is Jamie Pink, the leader of Tribal Huk, the same man who had been delivering 1,000 free school lunches a day to Waikato kids, the same man the judge would later describe as a curious mixture of a person, his 84th conviction, his 26th for violent offending, and the moment that ended a school lunch program that had been feeding hungry children across the Waikato for years. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to hit subscribe to support us. That single tap keeps us going and gives us the motivation to keep making the next one. Now, let's go back to where Jamie Pink begins. Alan James Pink, known as Jamie, grew up in Ngaruawahia, a small town on the banks of the Waikato River, the spiritual home of the Kingitanga movement, a community with deep cultural roots and, like many small New Zealand towns, significant socio-economic pressures that created the specific conditions from which gang culture grows. Pink accumulated his first conviction in 1988. He was a teenager. By the time he stood in Hamilton District Court in December 2020, he had 84 convictions spanning more than 3 decades. 26 of them for violent offending. He had risen to become the leader of Tribal Huk, a gang based in Ngaruawahia, with roots in the community it inhabited. Not an outlaw motorcycle club, not an internationally connected criminal network, a local gang, with local members, in a local town, and, uniquely in the history of New Zealand gang leadership, a school lunch program that at its peak was delivering 1,000 meals a day to children across the Waikato. Judge Robert Spear noted it directly in his sentencing remarks. Perhaps it came from the many occasions when you were sent to primary school without any food for lunch that you developed, through the Tribal Huk gang, a lunch in schools program in the Waikato. The nickname Tribal Huk, earned in Ngaruawahia, was not ruthless, not notorious, not infamous. The Sandwich Gang. Because of the lunches, Pink ran the program through the gang. At its peak, 1,000 meals a day delivered to Waikato schools. He held Christmas parties for disadvantaged children in Ngaruawahia. He gave cash to schools for drug education. A gang leader with 84 convictions funding anti-drug education in schools. In October 2017, Pink launched a public campaign to drive methamphetamine dealers out of Ngaruawahia. He claimed success. Then he drove his bullet-riddled 4-wheel drive to the offices of the Waikato Times in Hamilton and asked staff to call police, because he wanted to publicly announce the campaign was over before it caused more harm than good. 2 shotguns were found in the vehicle. He was charged with possessing firearms and an offensive weapon. Sentenced to 4 months community detention, and described by his own lawyer as a mature man with a lot of genuine qualities. The Crown prosecutor saw it differently. She said he had racked up 78 convictions since 1988, and that he went to the media to attract more attention for himself. Both descriptions were entered into the record. Neither cancelled the other. August 2018. Zion Coker, Tribal Huk's sergeant-at-arms, falls out with Pink. The specific reason is not fully documented in the public record. What is documented is what followed. Pink ordered his gang members to find Coker. They searched Ngaruawahia. Coker was eventually spotted in his car on the main street. 10 men converged on the vehicle simultaneously. Coker was knocked to the ground, punched, kicked, hit with a claw hammer. Then Pink arrived personally, with an axe. He smashed it into Coker's knees as the man lay curled in a ball on the footpath of Ngaruawahia's main street. In view of a crowd of locals, in broad daylight, on the main street of the town where Pink had been delivering 1,000 school lunches a day, Coker sustained serious injuries to both knees and his left ankle. He required surgery. Most of the locals who witnessed the attack were too scared to testify against Pink at trial. The man who ran the sandwich gang, who fed hungry children, who launched an anti-meth campaign, attacked his own second-in-command with an axe on the main street of the town he claimed to protect. That is the irony at the center of this entire story. And it is the irony that Judge Speer was forced to navigate at sentencing, giving a 30% discount for community work, while acknowledging the extreme and brazen nature of the violence that ended it. Pink was found guilty at trial of wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, his 84th conviction, his 26th for violent offending. In December 2020, Judge Robert Speer sentenced him to 7 years and 4 months in prison. The judge applied a 30% discount for his community work and background. Without the discount, the sentence would have been considerably longer. Judge Speer acknowledged directly that the school lunch program would end because of Pink's imprisonment. Sadly, because of this offending and the fact you will be incarcerated, that program will come to an end. 7 years and 4 months. For attacking his own sergeant-at-arms with an axe on the main street of his own town, Pink appealed. His lawyers argued the judge did not adequately warn the jury about misidentification. The Court of Criminal Appeal dismissed the appeal, finding that while the direction may have had deficits, it did not amount to a miscarriage of justice. The conviction stood. Police estimate that Jamie Pink made more than $1.6 million from criminal activity across his career. They pursued him under the Criminal Proceeds Recovery Act. In January 2024, Pink, now 52, agreed to hand over $300,000, less than 1/5 of what police believed he had made from crime. He was allowed to keep $22,700 and a 1994 Mitsubishi campervan. Police sought $1.6 million. They settled for $300,000. He kept the campervan. The full record, 84 convictions, $1.6 million estimated criminal proceeds, $300,000 handed back, a 1994 Mitsubishi campervan retained, 7 years and 4 months in prison, and a school lunch program that fed 1,000 children a day, ended by the man who built it. Here is what the story of Jamie Pink actually shows, and the question it raises that the judge, the prosecution, and the public record have never fully resolved. A man with 84 convictions, including 26 for violent offending, built a program that fed 1,000 children a day. Not as a PR exercise, not as a calculated strategy. The judge believed it came from genuine experience, from being sent to school without lunch himself, from understanding hunger in a way that produced a specific and sustained response. That program was real. The food was real. The children were real. And the axe on the main street was also real. The attack on his own sergeant-at-arms was also real. The 84 convictions were also real. Judge Speer called him a curious mixture of a person. That phrase, curious mixture, is the most honest description in this entire record. Because it refuses to resolve the contradiction, it holds both things simultaneously, the sandwich gang and the axe, the Christmas parties and the 26 violent convictions, the anti-meth campaign and the cannabis convictions the Crown prosecutor pointed out at the same hearing. For our community in Aotearoa, the lesson from Jamie Pink is not about gang leadership or criminal justice. It is about what happens when the only institution capable of addressing hunger in a small Waikato town is the local gang. The school lunch program ended because its funder went to prison. The children who received those lunches did not stop being hungry. The gap that Tribal Huk was filling, with criminal money, through a gang structure, in a community the state had not adequately resourced, did not close when the judge handed down 7 years and 4 months. It just went unfilled. What do you reckon? When a gang leader with 84 convictions is the person feeding 1,000 children a day, what does that tell us about who was supposed to be doing it instead?